Tonight, we know many of the workers detained at the construction site near Savannah will be flown back to South Korea. The Hyundai mega site in Bryan County was billed as one of Georgia's biggest economic projects. It was backed by more than $1 billion in tax breaks with the promise of thousands of jobs. But after last week's massive immigration raid, questions are now being raised about who is really benefiting. Atlanta News First reporter Abby Kasora is joining us live at the state capitol. Abby, what are lawmakers saying?
Yeah, well, some lawmakers are pointing fingers at Hyundai and that team of subcontractors. Others say that steps were taken to make sure there were no illegal hirings. We do have some fresh video for you provided by ICE of that raid, showing agents swarming the site, workers lined up outside. Witnesses described panic. People running, climbing fences, even hiding nearby. The governor's office defended the raid, saying in part, all companies operating within the state must follow the laws of Georgia and our nation. Homeland Security Investigations say that they uncovered subcontractors employing 475 workers in the U.S. illegally or working without authorization.
And I will tell you, there have been a multitude of meetings with them to make sure that they know that no one that is illegally in this country is working on this job site. Because I've been present for those meetings.
South Korea says that the 300 of those Korean nationals that were detained will be flown back and will be taken out of the Folkston Detention Center. Live tonight at the state capitol, Abby Kasora, Atlanta News First.